Good evening, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David Okun, and I am talking about the cost of living in the United Kingdom, the help being given by the United Kingdom government. Uh, Government giving help in the United Kingdom include money and non-monetary help, information, advice. These are all help to do with the cost of living crisis, but most of the help being given actually money and also maybe food or some other form of support, like us all good fridges, refrigerators, freezers, refrigerators, and cookers, carpets. I think like other things, household goods are also being given through via your local authorities if you live in the United Kingdom. Check the website of the government, ugov.uk, and also look at the website on your local authority, local council, to get this help. And there are also, if you watch this video, watch with the rest of the video I've recorded on the United Kingdom, because the whole showing various help being given by the United Kingdom. And if you live in England and Wales, the law in these areas are similar, but the law in Scotland is also different from Northern Ireland as well as from England and Wales. But they are quite similar systems within the United Kingdom, but also in Europe, America, and the Asia and the rest of the world in Africa. Welfare state provided such as found in Europe or the rest of the developed world may not be available in Africa. So it is my invitation going forward along this discourse to invite governments of the world to look at the problem of Africa. Africa is being funded primarily by the IMF and the World Bank, and therefore the developed world need to change their funding policies on Africa to include the provision of welfare state, because Africa, if capitalism is to be understood progressively, then in Africa the welfare state should be biggest, because Africa is the poorest continent in the world, with the potentially the richest actually in the world, which is a contradiction. It is a formulation providing contemporary society based on the history of violence, of imperialism, of capitalism, and this is the basis of the situation pertaining even to the current crisis of the cost of living, which shouldn't have been the case, including in the United Kingdom, if the government was actually doing a good policy to remove the majority of the population out of poverty, who now languish in poverty. The middle class, though, are minded to look at their income and also consider the artificiality of their comfort with their income, given that their work, their employment is temporary, on the basis of technology actually taking over society. I gave the example of the retail, banking, insurance, and all the other sectors where now retail being the mainstay of employment in the United Kingdom now is actually on the decrease. Employment sectors such as including involving admin is now less than 1%. These are some of the information you may be interested to know, to see the plight, the future of employment in Britain. But what happened in Britain is happening in Europe, America, and also ultimately in Asia, already in Asia, ultimately in Africa. A machine is taking over, which is a good thing. But it's a bad thing, because if the government do not actually take account of accommodating society with the coming of the machine taking over employment holistically all over the world, then some group of people who now work for living are going to be excluded from society. Without income, which income is the basis pertaining to the current cost of living crisis. Because current cost of living crisis is caused primarily by income situation, which is caused by poverty in the world, including in the United Kingdom. It's a shame. One of the richest countries on earth, including the United Kingdom, and also America being the richest country in the world, the cost of living crisis is impacting society the way it does today. Should not be heard of at all. It should not be heard of in Europe, in Asia and America, including also in Africa, because Africa potentially is quite rich. Developmentally, maybe still developing, but the wealth of the worlds of the continents of the world can actually lift Africa, even Africa, out of poverty. This is a realistic expectation. This is a realistic policy prospects. Government should learn this by learning cultural economy. It's something I've been reminding our viewers consistently. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and share with family and friends, and also click like notification. For some reason, we are actually making progress. Progress is slow. I'm so excited. We are improving on our videoing, and we are 1 year now. We have our birthday on the 12th of December, and going forward, we will continue to make progress. Our topics, the topics we discussed, has been very complex, but we have really improved in the way of our delivery, and also going forward, we're going to build on that. But my inviting is actually for individual living in the United Kingdom to get help or be in touch with the authorities, with the politicians, especially local councillors, but mainly form into community groups to try and lobby your local MPs as much as you can. The problem with the MPs, a member of parliament office, is part of the public sector. The government deliberately is closing down the public sector for ideological reasons, because you see, in Britain and across the globe now, there is a rejection of socialism, which is actually a fiction of political imaginations. In practice, there is nothing like socialism at all. And because of politicians actually enjoying the thrill of political brinkmanship, have actually destroyed society under the project of capitalism, which is actually the key economic system globally. Which is a good thing. Create wealth actually is the private engine of growth globally. But you see, if growth produced by capitalism is concentrated in the hands of the few and taken away from the hand of the many, that produces a problem, political and cultural problem, as I have explained, because the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and that is not necessary at all. It's a feat of global failure. Is actually a political violence which should stop immediately by government changing direction in terms of social policy in the United Kingdom, in Europe, America, and across the globe, including in Asia. I have actually spoken about this thing, and I'm happy I did. I'm happy to continue as long as possible, but my focus now coming back home to Britain is to try to illustrate the kind of help by actually looking at information. If you go on to the government website, and also gov.uk, if you go to the local authority, your local authority is also mostly gov.uk, but you go online and type your home address, your postcode online, and go to the find your local council, and then look at the help available online, but also look at your local charity website And if you have watched this video, watch the rest of the video. Like I said, for this video to make sense, or also to be beneficial, because I'll be avoiding to repeat the point I already repeated. Today, continuing from yesterday, we'll be looking at mental health. We're actually looking at help. But right now, I'll be explaining one of the help actually to advise the people of the country the value of looking up to your mental health. Mental health being as important as your physical health. With the cost of living, British people have been suffering more and more mental health and also physical health. The problem with healthcare in the United Kingdom is that it has been affected by government policy of shutting down the public sector. You see, if you shut down the public sector, you're doing the right thing by destroying public sector, by not funding it. Because if you want to destroy something, you don't fund it. If you keep funding the public sector, it won't be destroyed. So it's a conspiracy by the British government to destroy the public sector by stopping deliberately to fund the public sector. Because so if you don't feed a cat or a dog, it's going to die. You don't refuse to feed a human being, including a baby or somebody sick. You refuse to treat them, which is actually, that is what funding represents in an economy. You kill that economy, you kill that person, and that is exactly what the British government is doing to the public sector. And that is why there is a lot of poverty increase in the poverty, because the public sector is set to moderate capitalism, which is extreme at creating wealth and actually concentrating this wealth in the hands of the few and taking this wealth out of the many. And which is a good thing, as long as the government actually moderates this extremism, economic, systemic extremism, by actually intervening, by providing the public sector. As simple as that. And the government cannot actually wriggle itself out of the mistake it has made to neglect the public sector willfully for political, ideological reason, political opportunism, which is cheap. And actually, I just hesitate to use the name stupid, because I try to clean my mouth and not use strong languages on this channel. I just try my best, but you see, it is really mindless, because it is very violent. This violence is going to destroy society, it's going to destroy poor people fast. And the rich will also be poor, because violence is easy to start violence. It's so easy to start a fight. With our humanity, this is nothing to do with the government, it has to do with the rich or the poor. It has to do with humanity. Humanity, as us, all of us are so stupid that we start war, we start fight within seconds. And if you start a fight with your neighbor, just a little thing, quarreling over a car park, parking space, or at the supermarket, or at your driveways, at the front, or if you're in a flat, or you're just in the neighborhood, you start a fight. It's so easy to start a fight, but it can take years to stop it. And so the government, the British government, and the global governments, of course, this is about globalization, as well as nationalization, nationalism and globalism. Because you see, the world has gone global. Capitalism has expanded globally. What affects Britain positively or negatively economically is actually happening globally. So for solutions in Britain, there should be a connectedness between Britain as a nation and Europe and the European Union included. We talked about the European Union previously as a super state involving what's something called Federation of continents. Continental Europe on the one hand, and also Asia, America, and Africa. So we discussed that, and then if you watch these videos, they may not be the best, but they contain critical information which responsible citizens should actually watch this video. If you don't watch it deliberately, or if you don't see it, fine, because there's going to come a time when we'll come across this video. If you don't see it for whatever reason, but if you see and ignore it, you are irresponsible. We need responsible citizens, because it's our duty to solve our problems, and that is actually what modern society, what is actually empowerment, is the basis of liberty, of cultural, I would say, cultural and also social liberty, political liberty, if you like, economic freedom. You get out of poverty, the government needs to get people out of poverty. There are people now, 30% of the British people are stuck in benefit and on low pay. And there is no way they're going to get, that's not how hard they work. They will never, ever, ever get out of poverty. And their children will also be poor. They will start, this actually a generational continuity of hardship and poverty, and ultimately people are going to be in prison, such as the government now is sending people into public libraries, churches, public spaces, because the British people can no longer afford to pay their energy bills. It is freezing in Britain now, but nobody in the United Kingdom is getting any help at all from the government. This is a problem. And the problem of capitalism, which is actually ideologically constrained to produce peace in the United Kingdom, and also to provide peace across the globe. Because what happened in the United Kingdom happens around the world, and this is something we should remember. And we talk about sickness, but the answer to sickness is not benefit. The answer to physical health is not benefit. The answer to mental health is not benefit. Benefit is not cured by money. It's actually cured by local services, which is if you are sick, you are supposed to get help from organizations such as Mind, which is actually a charity which is responsible for mentally ill people in the United Kingdom. They include Mind, somebody called Mind, or the Samaritans. You can go onto Mind website. You can go onto the Samaritans. These are actually some of the key organizations in the United Kingdom which help people with mental illness. But see, these organizations need to be effectively funded by the government. So we produce a vicious cycle of funding failures, even with the charities, even with the local authorities, even with the government services within the civil services, but also now the public services within the military system, the legal system, the political system, including member of parliament's offices, are closing down, because see, the program is to not fund the frontline services within the policy element of the public sector. What is now being funded is actually the capital and infrastructure element, which is wealth. The human element of the service is being squeezed out. Now, this is in part wasting public money, because these capital investments are actually propagandas. They are propagandists. They are actually property or even wealth which will be transferred to the super rich, who will actually throw it away because they don't need it. This is waste. This is violence. This is actually a treachery. And if we don't stop now, we are going to see the beginning of the end of humanity as a species, because we cannot be foolish to destroy life and think somehow we are going to escape. I believe that there are individuals who are no longer humans, who are in power, who are out of power also. They are the same, they are conspirators because they are aliens. Or maybe some creature which have been genetically modified, who are no longer humans. They look like humans. They live with you. They can even marry you. They can have children with you. Their children will not be human beings. because there is something coming from the government now, from the ruling dynasties across the globe. The level of violence is so invisible. People think there is peace. There cannot be peace if there is the cost of living crisis. It's a sign that there is no peace. The country of Britain cannot be peaceful with the cost of living crisis happening. That cannot happen because and human beings being this violent, being this brutal, cannot be humans. I mean, if you are still human, then stop and think. Get the British people out of poverty. Increase the level of minimum wage. I said in the other video, we need up to about £30,000 after tax to pay benefit, which is not taxable. Whether they may be taxable or not, but if you are going to be taxable, benefit should be paid after tax. 30,000 per annum. 30,000 per annum minimum wage or living wage. That is the basis. Pension, a child benefit, there's no need for child benefit. There's even no need for pension. If there's benefit, you just pay one benefit, to cover housing costs, to cover energy costs, to cover water costs, to cover, if you're paying council tax, so be it. But if people are already poor, why do they still pay council tax? It's like the government giving help by one hand and taking away. Government behave like a thief, like also a thief which is not clever enough, because people should be able to know the theft. You see, that is actually, humans are imperfect, they are thieves, they are dishonest, they are also murderers. But the level of violence now coming from the state of Britain and the states across the globe, including in Africa, makes me believe there is a species of humans who have now turned into aliens or into other species. They look like humans. But you see, if you are a human being, you should value people. You should value human life. This is the test. You're a human being, value human life. And if you start valuing human life by changing the way you think, then your policy will reflect who you are. The policy now being produced across the globe, particularly in the United Kingdom, is proof that there are people who are playing key roles in society who are no longer humans. Because you cannot allow anyone, a single person, to be in poverty, to suffer health, to suffer food poverty, energy poverty, water shortages, housing. People are actually sleeping rough on the streets because of state negligence. This can only come from species other than humans. If you are still humans, stop the insanity, attack on society on the basis that you are fighting socialism. Socialism is a myth. You see, if you destroy the public sector, you are not fighting socialism. It's a myth. You are killing people. You are destroying human life. That is what you are doing. You are not fighting socialism. Capitalism and socialism are the same. They are instruments of rule. They produce wealth with which to rule over people. Rule is the problem. It's evidence of violence, but we need this violence now because of cultural failure. Until we achieve a state of enlightenment as humans, we need state violence up to a point. But we are saying that we now need to really exercise it. We have to begin a process of withdrawing from violence, from withdrawing from the idea of one class of people ruling over the few ruling over the many. This need to now start. We need to start using technology now to balance this thing. But we cannot come out of this slavery, because slavery is for the masters and for the subjects in almost equal measure, because both face the same fate, extinction. If the few at the top continue to enslave the many at the bottom, and the few deserve to be enslaved, because both the rich, the problem is the rich do not deserve to oppress the poor. The poor deserve to be oppressed. Because as humans, we have failed to learn our culture. We need to really value humanity as a collective, not just one person. If you understand the concept of cultural economy, then leave a comment below and let us start a conversation on this channel to start doing something positively, to start a movement in our communities, youth communities, to start promoting the idea of valuing humanity as a priority, as simple as that. But all we need to do is get people to change the way they think, to start thinking humans first, which is now what is not happening anymore. We think about other things, including animals, including trees, including water, including climate change, including guns and bombs, including banks, including supermarket wealth. And then we begin to start. We got our priority upside down, the rich and the poor, slaves and masters alike. It's a humanitarian problem. It's a cultural failure. I have been preaching this, that we must change our culture. Today, the poor and the rich, the slave and the masters. The slave, because of cultural failure, which is actually a humanitarian failure, which is our human responsibility to restore by changing the way we think, starting to think human first and other things second. Because what you are, who you think. You are what you think. The way you think so you are. Now you think other things are more important than humans. So in your point of view, you are actually a pervert because you walk with your head instead of walking using your feet. So you think other things first. You don't think humanity first, but I actually think humanity first. This is the fundamental, the key to changing our culture, to restoring our humanitarian culture. As soon as we do that, we begin the process of restoration, cultural restoration. And in so doing, once we have done the same, we now begin to reorganize ourselves, learning. We are a society of shortcuts. There is now no such thing as shortcuts. You are not going to be enlightened tomorrow. No, this is a long haul. We are in it for the long haul. It's not going to go away tomorrow. This offense, cultural offense, is only the beginning. We need to take responsibility and make sacrifices to change the way we think, to become culturally astute, culturally responsible, thinking to value humanity first and other things second. This cultural revolutionary approach is the roadmap to peace and the fundamentals. And so humanity will begin to transform from violent creatures to peaceful creatures. This is the weapon, changing from being weapon of mass destruction to becoming the weapon of mass construction. So as we transform to become better humans, better stock of species, we begin to do exploits. We begin to be more dynamic. We begin to actually solve more problems quickly using technology, using development. And this is actually the future of humanity, looking at the culture to change the way we value humanity. Because see, the destiny of humanity, the destiny is in the hand of humanity. No alien are going to come to solve our problem. We chose war. By refusing to value humanity, we chose war. Let us now choose. If we can choose war, that is progress. That is evidence of our survival. Because we can choose. We have the power to choose. We chose war as a species. Now we can choose peace. Change the way we think. We now think war. We are at war with poverty, economic war, cultural war, humanitarian, tribalism, racism, all sorts of wars. The evidence is there. The writing is on the wall. We chose war. That's good news. Because if we can choose war, we can choose peace. We can flip it around. That is my argument, at the start of my argument on the cultural front. That is what I have been saying. I believe this can be done We need to really change our minds about humanity, about our lives. We begin to think peace. And in so doing, we begin to put humanity first. Because if you value something, you don't destroy it. If you want to keep something, you don't fight such a thing. You don't fight to destroy assets or even money, children, dogs, cats, if you value them. We are to value all these things, but we need to start by valuing humanity first so that we get our sanity back. We begin to see the light other than seeing the darkness, which is confusion. Today, we in Britain call our neighbors strangers. We are not strangers. Yes, we are, but we are not supposed to be strangers because we are mentally deranged. We call our neighbors strangers and we treat them as strangers because they are strangers. If we don't treat them that way, if we don't lock ourselves indoors like prisoners, leave our doors open, strangers will come and destroy us. And that has to change because that is violence, that is war. On the streets, at home, there are actually couples sleeping together in a bed, and the wife or the husband doesn't sleep peacefully because they don't trust their partners. Wives don't trust husbands, husbands don't trust wives that much because that is how far we have strayed from the path of peace as a human species. And that is what I've been going on about. And children are killing parents. Parents are no longer trusting children. You don't know whether your child is still a human being or an alien or a species from another planet. Things are getting worse, but there is hope in the sense that we can change. We created this situation. We are going to uncreate it, to change, to start a path, the process of creating a new way, creating a new value, creating creating a new life for us. As we created war, we are going to create peace. We have to do this. We have to believe that we are the agent of peace. We are the agents of war, and we have been agents of war. We are now to stop, rich or poor, slave or free, black or white, male or female. This is a humanitarian problem, whether you live in Africa, whether you live in Europe. We need peace. We need to change, to do this cultural revolution and change the way we think human, and begin to form families, communities, and begin to kickstart the conversation about peace. Having said so, watch this video to the end and subscribe to this channel, share with family and friends. Click the notification bell and let me know what you think. And the cost of living is here to stay. It's a crisis. It may go up, it may go down. But this is a symptom of a broken society, which is what I've been talking about. We talk about because I have hope. I have hope in humanity. Humanity creates problems and they solve it. Now we have to really focus more so that we create less problem and solve more problem and turn around and start our journey toward a peaceful destiny. We are now going into oblivion. We are going into darkness. We are going into paralysis. We are going into extinction. We are actually dying as a species. Stop, learn, and change direction. Let us start providing peace, building peace. We can do this. And I'm so happy I have actually shared this with you. I'm also happy you are watching this. And subscribe to this channel, share with family and friends, support this channel in whatever way you can so that it grows, so that we develop this line of conversation. I'm in the UK now talking about the support being given by the government of the UK via government instrumentations, but also private companies and the charitable organization. But it is, like I said, it is a policy problem. The government should change its policy, and it's a factor of development in the United Kingdom. and also to moderate the extremism found within the politics and also the economy and society at large. And this can be done, and it may take long, it may be complicated, because Britain need to talk with other political parties within itself, and also with between Britain and Europe, the Europeans, and between the Europeans and the Americans, the Asians and the Africans. We need to start changing direction to moderate. Capital is not going to stop unless it collapses on its. Everything which develops will actually come to an end, because you see, capitalism is a construction. Construction of a lifetime. It's a life cycle. There will come a time when capitalism will stop. But now we are not going to stop capitalism because it is complete. The project is complete. We have to work with capitalism now, which is a good system. And if we begin also the process of cultural awareness, to begin to think peace other than war. The war is still there, but we need to end it, because we started the war. For decades and decades and decades, we build society at war. This will stop, and it must stop, because we are humans. We began it, which is is a sign of hope, because we started it. Therefore, if we started it, we will stop it, because we can stop the war. And once, the way to stop the war is actually to change the way we think. That is how to change. Because now we are thinking war, start thinking peace. We think, so we are. We have the power of our minds. More than we can think. We can use the power of our mind to change the way we think about black people, about white people, about humans, about our environment, about other species. We have the power to do that, and that is why I'm confident to say that our culture will actually liberate us out of this misery. We'll turn around and start building peace, and we will succeed. We have always succeeded. We have succeeded at war. That is a good news. We will also succeed at peace. And that is the core of this channel, the core of this messaging, the core of this channeling, YouTube channeling, is actually peace. Is illustrating peace with something called the cultural economy, or the new cultural economy. Is a component part of progress. And I'm excited to share this information with you. Leave a comment below, subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed, support this channel, continue watching the video even if you don't enjoy it. Don't be like some people who only do something because they like it. You have to take responsibility. And a lot of the time, things of value are not really things we like, because because there are things we need. If you swallow medicine, you don't. I really enjoy swallowing medicine, but we are so lucky we have food, which is actually medicine. We enjoy eating, but once, as soon as you are satisfied, or if you don't have appetite because you are sick, then you have to eat even if you don't like food. Really, you don't feel like eating food because it is necessity. So this video, it is shame. You may not like watching it because it's not entertaining you. It might be entertaining somebody else, but what you want to do is to share with family and friends. You can do that, and there's no reason why you shouldn't. So coming back to the United Kingdom, it goes through some of the help we are looking at to address, for example, the situation of mental health. Mental health is the leading cause of death among young people now, even among the old adults, because there is anxiety, there is depression. Almost anybody you find on the street is depressed and anxious, and this is becoming a crisis. We have organizations like Samaritans. If you go on their website, they are supposed to help you, and do your best to get this help. It is so difficult to get this help because of the lack of funding. And also go to your MP and tell them, I told you that there is help, and the help is not really easy to get because of lack of resources. And this lack of resources is created by the government. And the UK government should change its policy to provide more resources to charities, to local authorities, to provide help to organizations like Samaritans, organizations like Mind. Mind is also is a charity which help with mental health. And you can also talk to your GP. GP is a general practitioner, is a family doctor in the United Kingdom. If you live in the United Kingdom, you know if somebody says a GP, you know who they are instantly. They're general practitioners, they're doctors, they work for the family. They are part private, but they are actually funded by the government. They are mostly private companies. It is a private entity being funded by the UK government, but also maybe funded by other resources. But fundamentally, they are actually there to help family. I have already said the problem with the general practitioner, but with all these organizations, because getting help if you are poor in the United Kingdom is impossible, almost impossible now, because you can wait for months, for years before to get the treatment, before even speaking to a doctor. You may not even see a dentist if you try, but try your best, because you only live once. If you're alive, do your best to get help from wherever you can. Get help from family, from friends, from churches, from your member of parliament, from your politicians, from your local services, from anywhere. Stay safe. Make sure the source of help you are getting are genuine. There are a lot of fraudsters online, fraudsters everywhere. If you are having a problem with internet, try to get help from your family members. Make sure you access the right internet because of cyber security issue. Some internet, some websites are actually fake. They're there to steal, to try and kind of like play around with your thing. These are some of the things most people already know. I'm just only repeating them. So organizations such as Samaritan is quite good because they are open almost all the time. You can phone them at any time. Their telephone line is free, so you can always contact their telephone number. Go online and get their telephone number and this their helpline number, and then phone it. They are open from Monday to Sunday at any time. This is really good. And if you are having depression, anxiety, or even something more serious like bipolar or whatever, which is on the increase, unfortunately. And in terms of Welsh language line, they're open from Monday to Sunday. They are actually open Monday to Sunday, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., which is actually on Sundays. That is Welsh language. The rest of Welsh language, the Monday to Friday probably, Monday to Saturday probably the same with England. And so there is another one called Shout, which is also a charity dealing with mental health issues. Actually, you can text them at Shout, SHOUT, and there is a number. If you go online, you will get a number, and you can actually speak to them. Their professionals are properly trained, and a lot of them are volunteers because they are highly trained volunteers, which is a system now common in the United Kingdom. Volunteers are highly trained professionals. They don't get paid because the government do not give enough money to pay them. And you should report this to your local MP to tell the government to start paying volunteers, because 80% of the local services are now charities. 80%, from the top of my head, about 80% is run by volunteers. And the government should start paying these people. You have to ring-fence your funding. Increase this funding to cover these volunteers. They are some of the best professionals ever trained in the world. Britain is a leading country. You get volunteers being trained, you will not even know they are volunteers. They are experts in comparison to the rest of the world, because Britain is a leading country. And we've got some of the best professionals in this country. They lead the world, and we should really celebrate their services, their sacrifices, but the government needs to do more and help these people more. Fund organizations like Shout, Samaritan, organization like Mind, so that they can help these communities, including the volunteers who work for nothing. Maybe they get transport money and lunch money, and this is negligence, because these people some of them are actually trained for years, 3 years, 4 years, and some of them are so dedicated. They work 2, 3 to 4 even hours, and some of them live even in poverty. Some of them are pensioners who have already retired. They are actually giving their skills to society. So the government should respect them, should celebrate them in a peaceful way, and in a dignified way. And these changes need to occur. If you watch this video, go to your local MP and show this video to your member of parliament. Let them watch this video and also think about it and speak to their government ministers, and government ministers will actually engage with the parliament, and let us actually leave the nonsense about partisan politics. Partisan politics is a very dangerous politics. It may look like it is necessary, but when you need to solve a common problem in the country, for once, in America, in the United Kingdom, in Europe, let us put our political differences aside. If we don't, like we now seem to be failing to do, we are failing now to come together as Parliament of the United Kingdom, whether you are Conservative, Labour Party. There are moments when you actually stop, such as when there is war, and form a consensus and stop this nonsense about socialism and capitalism, because they are artificial. We have a country, we have an economy running. It's a system of rule, and we need a system of rule, because we are culturally immature. We need the law to actually help us, to help our worlds. We need a system of the rule of law, such as we do. It's a necessity. The law is a necessary evil, if you like. It actually there to support a sick country like Britain, or a sick continent like Europe or Africa or Europe, because you see, freedom excludes the law. If we are free, then we will have achieved a cultural enlightenment, in which case we mature so that we know exactly what to do responsibly. You will not see people actually killing each other on the street. People will have the power to emancipate themselves from even addiction, like drug, like cigarette, like alcohol, or like any other form of addiction. Because you see, if you achieve power because of the way you have matured, you can have self-control, and then so you don't need people to force you to do something. You don't need people because today government use fear by the tools of the rule of law, and the rule of law is actually backed by the police, by prison, by the military, and all the other security infrastructure with the other forces. We call them force because they are enforcers of the rule of law, legal system and policy infrastructure. These forces, including the police and all the other, the civil system of force, or also militaristic forces, are necessary evil to make people do the right thing, to force them. So when we talk of freedom, it's theoretical, because the reality is actually we need an element of dictatorship. Even in Britain, we need it, and we actually practice it. It's called civil bureaucracy. It's also known, civil bureaucracy is based on the rule of law. Rule of law is enforceable by the security agencies. Without security, this country will go extinct within 24 hours. So if you are a British citizen, or somebody who lives in Britain who might not be a British citizen, you have to appreciate the system. Because without the system, you can't survive for a week. This country in Britain will go If we don't have the government now, if we don't have security system, the police, and all the security council, the system, including emergency services like ambulance, fire, without this system, even the civil administration, this country will just disappear. Within 24 hours, people will be gone. Not just the United Kingdom, but it's a global system, which we need to support in whatever way. It doesn't matter what we think about the system. The system is our lifeline. This point is so important in terms of development, because without development system, we cannot exist. We will just disappear as a species. So this is so important, and so we need to talk to our families. And if you take time to talk about these issues. You don't leave it to the government. Sit down and maybe take 1 hour and talk about what should we do as a family to contribute to the peace of Great Britain. What are we going to do? I know children should go to play in parks. They should go to play with their friends, but at least once a month have a family meeting. If you're a single mother, have a family meeting. You can invite the neighbors, form little communities, and start talking about what are we going to do to eradicate poverty in Britain. To start talking and actually recording what you have actually done. You begin to plan your life systematically. You may even get out of poverty without the help of the state, because there are still opportunities. There will always be opportunities. It doesn't matter how challenging it is. You may be challenging, but you can start your own small business, and medium business is still there. It will shut down ultimately, but it is still there. If you're lucky, you can start your small business, or maybe baking cakes and selling it online. You can do that. And it's a family. If you are a single mother and you like cakes, you be an expert on cake and start selling cakes to your neighbors. Make birthday cakes. If you can't do it alone, get a friend in the neighborhood, your best friend. You can start a business. You quarrel, you fight, but when you're top fighting, you go back to work, making cakes, or even making embroideries. You can make your own clothing. You can buy a sewing machine. Sewing machine, you can start making your own clothes. You can actually download a video from the internet, from the YouTube channel. You can download a video and learn how to make shoes for yourself and for your children. You may not succeed, but even you can invite a neighbor or a friend and support one another. My niece, I hope she's watching this video. She is so fantastic. She can take apart a whole computer. I haven't seen her doing that, but she can do that. My nephew also can build computer from the scratch. These are some of the family and community resources. We can actually do that. I mean, there are individuals who are computer engineers. I have a friend who is a computer engineer. He can form a community with our friends and family and train them how to repair a computer. I mean, sometimes you have to give to receive. If you like food, if you know how to cook, you can start cooking from home for your neighbors. Let them taste the kind of cook. If they like your cooking, if they have birthday parties, you are the one cooking for them. You make a bit of money. This is actually the wealth of development. As a product of development. See, one of the best things Britain did in the world is to develop the country. The infrastructures are there. We cannot take Great Britain for granted. We cannot take Europe and America or Asia for granted, or even Africa. This development infrastructure is now trickling down the global economy into continents like Africa. So we need to now start doing little things. Go to the pub, enjoy yourself. The cost of living is an opportunity for you to even go and walk in the park. If you used to sit on your couch and watch television, it's an opportunity to walk around. Maybe go to the library because it's warm. Do exercise. You walk there, you do exercise. You may not even need much help with depression, with mental health. Because you start a small community where you go to the library, you do research about the cost of living crisis, you start writing books, you start a online magazine. If you are single mothers or even young people, community of young people, you can go to the library once for 2-3 hours, do a research, and you create a discussion group on the cost of living crisis. You start the magazine, a youth magazine, online. You create a space to start talking about the cost of living as a crisis. It is an opportunity for you in terms of development. Development is easier than culture, because culture is a long-term objective. It involves mental management. You input information in your head, and also as you build these community networks, you begin to empower yourself. You may even begin to advise yourself, advise your neighbors free of charge. You may not be even need to go to citizen advice. You may not be able need to go to mine, because you can do a research and become advisors. You can train. There are free training online. You can do this training. You can set up little project and train yourself. The government may or may not give you grants. You can go online, actually raise money using WhatsApp, Instagram, or even set up, create a YouTube account and use it. If you grow, use it to raise funds for your charity, and begin to create self-help program. You network with local doctors, or even somebody who knows a local doctor may decide to donate their times to help people with advice freely through local organization, maybe family, youth organization, single mother, single father, or just normal families, or some kind of family types. They can start doing things for themselves. This is not to say the government should wash its hands to neglect this country. The worst thing the government is doing is to destroy the public sector. We should be restored forthwith, immediately, because it's the best way to get out of trouble as a country, and also as a global partner, because Britain is a partner with Europe. It's also a partner with America. It's a partner with Africa. The British Commonwealth actually are all over Africa. They are in Canada, they may be in Australia, South Africa. These institutions, these infrastructures, these communities can work together. And the cost of living crisis is an opportunity to do that. This video is an opportunity for us to kickstart the, if you have ideas, what we need to do, like self-help. I mentioned making your own clothes, baking your own cake. It's a food called chapati, which is a form of bread. It's a flat bread, which is actually consumed among African communities, and also Asian. I think it's Asiatic. If you look at Asia, information on Asia, it is said Asians actually came from Africa. They came from Africa. The culture of Asia and Africa is quite similar. They eat, the Indians actually and the Pakistanis eat chapati. I think they either introduced it to Africa or Africa introduced it to them, I don't know. But we call it in Kiswahili. Kiswahili is actually a language of East Africa created as a mixture of Arabic and Bantu language. Bantu language is actually a local African community culture and a group of people, especially in East Africa, but also in the rest of Africa. The Swahili is spoken in East Africa. It's also spoken in Central Africa, but I think it's also it's a global language now, because it's also spoken in Germany. Germany used to they decolonize East Africa, like Tanzania maybe and part of Kenya. Germany were there, and they also broadcast in Kiswahili from Germany. So Kiswahili is a language. We call it chapati. We call this food chapati. You learn to make this, or samosa, which is a type of it's a bread, it's like, I don't know what it is. It's like it's like a bread. It's like kind of a cake or whatever. But it's a vegetable kind of like food in which you can put meat inside. You can put minced meat inside, and on the outside is like a pastry-based food, a pastry kind of based food. We call it samosa. This kind of food you can learn to make it. Because you spend more time in, because you have less money to go out, you keep yourself busy inside. And it may not be very warm because of the cost of living crisis, but also you can go online or join local community groups or other organizations. We do training on budgeting, we do training on financial management, you do training on actually how to earn small monies and manage. And actually, if you used to spend maybe £200 per month on grocery, maybe you can reduce it to 150. And if you used to throw food away in the United Kingdom, maybe you should now start thinking of how to watch videos on cookery. Chefs like Jamie Oliver, TV chef, people like that, Gordon Ramsay. You can actually follow them online and learn how to use leftover, how to actually, if you cook too much food, you put it in the fridge. How do you freshen leftover and make it delicious and and nutritious? I watch this on television. I should be watching it on YouTube so that I improve the way I cook. If you cook healthy, delicious food at home, it costs less. You go to the supermarket, you buy food, you learn how to cook. For example, when we still live in relative wealth, without the cost of living crisis, we used to buy junk food, which is nice. It's really comfort food. It made us fatter. It made us less healthy, but we liked it. This is our country, Britain. It is a country of opportunities. We enjoy so many privileges. So what? It's our life. We enjoy it. We still enjoy it. Snacks and stuff like that. Sweet things. It's a balance, chocolate and things like that. But you can start to cut down and begin to cook your own meal, vegetables, healthy food. You buy fresh food. Like if you like meat, you can buy meat and cook at home. You'll cook the way you want, and you learn, how to use lemon, how to use spices. So all this is opportunity, which actually, if you work in the kitchen, actually some people say, if you work in the kitchen, is actually a form of healing mentally. You wash, clean around the house. If you're depressed, you feel better. You're refreshed. It's a healing process. It's a form of healing. And you talk to people, you visit to get help. And this is our opportunity for us to actually celebrate life. Because we, as a species, we should learn to live in hope. And I have said in the other videos, and I will be taking opportunity to repeat some of the things I already said, that development is our strongest point. Culture is our weakest point. But going forward, we have to be optimistic and hope. Scientists, especially good ones, those who actually value humanity, are good scientists. There are people who are now giving up on humanity. They now see humans as enemies. These are the ones we should help to start trusting the essence of humanity. There are people who are now beyond redemption. They are so sold out that they no longer believe in humanity at all. These are actually dangerous people. We have to find some medicine to start curing them because they are still humans. I believe we can actually, even if people now are beyond help, we have to be optimistic as long as they're still alive. Technology is changing very quickly. The pace technological changes, especially medical technology. We are now doing research to slow down aging, which is really a big thing, because aging is the number one source of death. People actually go extinct because of aging, and this is really a big thing. It's a scientific fact. Scientists are now researching how to slow down aging, or even stop aging, or reverse aging. This is actually a program with information I saw on the BBC. And if you look at aging, if you look online on the internet and look at the BBC online and find information on aging, the scientific aspect of it, it may be boring, it may be dull, but you see, these are actually resources we need to really value and use, because knowledge is actually our lifeline. And we may prefer to play other than work, but we need to do both. We need to play, we need to work also, because the only way to succeed is work, and work is not nice unless it is nice. You want nice things all the time, means you don't want to work. You should work, because the only way to succeed is actually work. It doesn't matter how it looks like, whether you're paid for the work you're doing. Payment is actually in kind or in cash. Some people get paid by cash, others work and they don't get paid by cash, but they work, they gain skills. They also give, their work actually produce value. That is success. And this is not to say we should work as prisoners without being paid. We need, everyone who works should be paid, and should be paid decently. And this is a major issue, because see, income in any country is of fundamental importance. But whilst the government is struggling, whilst we begin to engage with the government, for the government to listen to us, to start taking British people out of poverty, we should continue to help ourselves. In the way I said, you need to work, you need to learn. You are a student, so you have to learn. You have to read. You need to sit and think about a topic and explore it in your head. Take time also and play. Go and have fun with your family and friends. Life is holistic. And this is one way of actually healing mentally or physically even. Walk, take a walk. Get some fresh air. If you have a dog, take a dog for a walk. If you have friends, just phone them. Go out for a walk. And have some laugh, say funny thing and laugh. See, laughter is like music. Music is like oil. You see, it provides comfort. It's like eating comfort food, because if you laugh, it's like you're seeking. People like music. Music is a form of healing. It's a form of healing product. It's good for mental health if it is actually a proper good music. There are some music which are so happy, which if you listen to, some music will make you mad, will actually make you even mentally more sick, or physically even more sick. So watch what music you listen to and concentrate, focus. The cost of living is an opportunity for you to focus, because if you focus on something, then if the cost of living, you learn what it is, what is causing it, identify the problem and solve the problem. If you concentrate on solutions other than on the problem, then you are on the right track. But it's the most challenging thing is have to identify the problem, because you have to identify the problem. It can be long, challenging, depressing, but this is a challenge we need to face. It's our necessity. Watching this video is a necessity. If you can't watch this video, but you will have watched enough to learn that the cost of living is an opportunity. Your responsibility to be master, be an expert on the cost of living crisis. You can wait for me to teach you, which is nice. But take control of your life. It is empowering. You get the information, you get the learning, you begin to discuss that with your children, discuss that with your friends, discuss it with other people. But that's actually a way of doing charity to your children, doing charity to the elderly, doing charity. That is a major source of reward. You become a great person by helping other people to become better people. If you go out of your way, maybe to give your time at the food bank, or at the local school, or create a local community, you do seminars. If you have knowledge, you can contribute into delivering seminars or workshop. You become a hero, you become a champion in your society, giving to help other people who cannot help themselves, the elderly, disabled people, children, people who are sick, the poor. If you have a bit of money, you try to go all the way to start a charity. If you are a multimillionaire, imagine in the United Kingdom, if you have 100 multimillionaires beginning a project to get people out of homelessness, the government will actually bow down. See, imagine the King Charles came and spoke and involved Prince William and also Kate, and maybe Prince Harry or the rest of the royal family, and begin to talk about homelessness and begin to set up a project and appeal to the world to get the British people out of poverty. I think this will happen homelessness will stop within a year. If the problem is celebrities and people of influence take life in the United Kingdom for granted, they are actually shut out. They don't know how much people are suffering. If they did, nobody in this country will be poor. You see, people like Elton John, which actually spend, I don't know, millions of hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands on maybe perfumes, maybe on flowers, maybe on chandeliers, maybe on a cup of coffee. He may spend £5,000 or even £500 just for a cup of coffee. If he can set up a trust, someone like Elton John, someone like Sir Alex Ferguson, Lord Sugar, or the apprenticeship, you can talk to his rich friend in America, Donald Trump, and all the other billionaires, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Virgin, Richard Branson in the United Kingdom. All these millionaires and the royal family are so wealthy. They can now begin to support a system of charity to get the British people out of homelessness, out of food poverty, out of any form of poverty. This can be done. So we need to start as an initiative to do charity, to help other people, to make us champions. Even if we are living in poverty, we can still give and become champions, become better in people. We begin to contribute developmentally toward peace. Thank you for watching this video, and we are going to continue with this discussion in the next video. And if you have watched up to this time, you consider yourself a champion, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. Be an advocate for my channel. What's the name? Ambassador. Be an ambassador for this channel. Tell as many people as possible about this channel. Ask them to subscribe, to support it. I want it to grow so that I can reach more people in different ways. And also, I will continue to do this because as I talk about these topics, I teach myself the ability to actually communicate so that people actually gain more. I gain more, everybody gains more. So the actual participation, my participation is actually teaching me to do research and actually compile materials, and also learn how to communicate this information as accurately as possible. I can only hope that My capacity to relay important messages will improve over the years. And thank you, YouTube, for this opportunity for me to contribute, to play my part in society, to give information as I feel are actually important. And I'll thank myself for recording this video today. And also, thank you if you are watching. And if you're not watching, I thank you in advance, because one way or the other you will see this video and you may or may not like it, but make use of it in one way or the other. Share with family and friends. Even if you don't like it, if you think it's rubbish, share it anyway, because somebody else will like it. I've been receiving feedback. 90% more, actually. People who give me feedback is positive, which means I'm doing something good. I can only improve on it, and I'm nearly there to improve. It is very costly to produce videos, and I've invested a lot of money, and also to learn how to use certain functions within the equipment I have. And thank you so much for helping me, and thank you for contributing to your family, to your friends, to your community. Carry on doing that is the right thing to do. I believe in people, and I believe in our country, the United Kingdom. I believe in our world. We are a global community, we are a global family in Europe, in Asia, in America, in Africa. Let us work together as one human family to bring peace, to bring development, to get our people, to get ourselves out of poverty. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.